Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. It is time for June Waffle. I am going to pop this on an easel, but you may be able to see I have a tray set up. My daughter, as frustrating as it got for her, bless her, she has sorted these into a rainbow order that I think she is now pretty much happy with. And I have just stuck my stickers on the front. They are sticking better on the front of some than others, so let's hope they stay there. If they don't, I may just have to get a bit of tape. I think it doesn't like some of the silkier filaments, but anyway. I've put my stickers on in an order that makes sense to me. Once the easel is up here, I may have to move them about, but I wanted to show you them before we put any diamonds in them and they need to stay upright. So we have tray set number 1. She loves this part. Not as happy that I don't have all the colours to match up on the other part. And then there is some pink and green at the bottom because I have loads of pink ones. Some of the really old ones that have even got 4Kids at 147 on the bottom. But anyway, yes, so this is tray number 1. I have set this up to be numbers first, just because the first 5 numbers on the sheet were numbers. And then this one is actually then letters. So this whole tray system is just numbers and letters. So we'll move that to the side because I know I'm going to have to set my easel up in a minute. And then this one is a little bit more haphazard. There's a little bit more of a moody rainbow. And then we have some mixtures of some other colours and then that pink that sort of flows on. We have got the new tray in there as one of them, but yeah, I am working with the AMZ trays for this one just because I am going to be able to tip more diamonds and keep them in there, and while I do still have loads and loads of zesty trays, I do have a little bit more in the AMZ trays. So for this one I did sort of start with things like dots, things with lines, arrows, triangles, but then when I got sort of further down to all the other different symbols, I went a little bit by colour. So I'll probably figure these out as I go along. We'll see if we end up with any similar colours on similar trays as we're diamond painting. But yeah, I wanted to show you the tray setup. So I do need to set up my easel. And normally this will be done ready for each day, which is why I think I need my trays over the other side. I'm going to try and work on it this way up, so with the right way up. I do of course have cover paper over it all, but if I just take my clips off my other one, the benefit of this is I can clip them from the side and then I can just tuck the bit underneath and it doesn't affect the cover paper that much because we are starting on, of course, square number 1, which is in here. I've already lined up the ones around it because I did it on the prepping video, so that you guys could see all of that. But this is set number 1. I do have my tray with all my diamonds in there, but I am, say, going to be popping them into my tray system. I'm tucking that right underneath my easel so it does lip over a little bit, but not enough. It's going to be going flat again as soon as I've sort of finished this section. I'm just wondering what's the best way to put my tray storage, because lying flat isn't always going to be an option. I could potentially lie it flat, but then when I'm working on the bottom, I'm going to have to lift up the canvas and it's going to hit my trays anyway. So I'm trying to make it so that I can still access all my trays. Of course, if I only needed to use one tray storage unit, that would potentially have been easier. But we're on two, so we'll make it work. We'll make it work as long as I can see everything and potentially grab everything. That's the main thing. I have got sort of behind me, tucked on the bookcase, the actual storage with the diamonds. And of course, the further along we go, the less likely I am to need to dip into that. What is going to be my trying to make sure that I can still see it, but it's not in the way, is my YouTube comments. Because of course this is a whip and waffle. So for anybody new to the June waffle, I will be doing a section of this diamond painting a day throughout the month of June. I am going to be using, say, my tray storage system, and I'm going to be chatting to you guys with all your comments, questions, etc. while we do it. What I do want to do though, I want to try, I'm going to be using a different pen each time. Okay, that doesn't fit in as well. And oh, that's why. So this is the 4-place that I got from Kim, and I'm like, why is it not going in there now after me trying to put it in there? Well, one, this pen, I actually have some double-sided tape wrapped around for my straightener to fit in. But what I found I had to do with this, can you see it's got this little O-ring? I actually needed to pull that down a little bit so it actually got caught up in the pen, because if it doesn't get caught up in the pen, it just gets pushed to the top of the pen, but it actually needs it to be able to fit in. Now, you can, on some pen tips, you can potentially use a glue dot to help it stay in. But this one's got a hole in the bottom. So there's no point in trying to glue dot that one, is there? So what I tried to do, my O-rings of course has come off now, is get my O-ring to go on at halfway and sort of tuck it so that it grabs part of the O-ring. And now it stays in. I mean, it will still pull out, but it needs the O-ring and it's trying to make it stay. But yeah, I'm going to try and change up my pens each day. I've got a few from subscribers as well. And sometimes I'll be using this 4-placer. Sometimes I won't, but I've just seen a couple of big sections here and I'm like, would be kind of nice to use them. So let's start with our 3857. Looks like we'll be using this tray quite a bit. This is the sort of a brown outline. This tray is from December 2021. And I want number 3857, which I do have quite a few tubs of, which is not surprising. So I'm going to tip loads into my tray, probably too much there. But that's fine because they will be staying in my tray. And then we get them all to go down a bit, but I'm keeping all my excess over here. And let's zoom you guys in. Am I going the right way? No? Which? Oh, goodness me, camera, catch up. There we go. I kept changing which way I was doing it, and it took a while for the camera to realise I'd pressed the button. But hey. Let's zoom in. Let's get going, people. Let's try. Oh, this pen. This pen is from Lazen Latheworks. I actually have quite a few from them. A few different designs, a few different shapes of pens. I've never used this pen with a multi-placer. So I have a straightener, which normally is what stays on it. And the straightener of course, I use to nudge diamonds here and there. But turning it over to use the straightener, I can hold it in sort of any place. Like I can hold it here, I can hold it here to nudge them, whatever's comfy. But for a multi-placer, I feel like I need to hold it closer, and it feels very weird holding this pen with a multi-placer in. But hey, I will get to revisit all of my pens and find out which ones work with a multi-placer and which ones don't. But I have found that when I do use a multi-placer, I like it to be on the vertical. I like to do it going up. I'm not keen on much bigger than a 4-placer at the moment. I'm very happy with just sticking with a 4-placer. And I will quite often do the single 2s, but I can't pick up 4 and put 2 down in one place and then 2 down in another, which I have seen people do with really long multi-placers. They're very good at sort of picking which diamonds go on the canvas. I don't have that skill level, so don't come here if you want that sort of skill level with multi-placers. I am very much a beginner. I am a lot comfier single placing, and there will probably be quite a bit of this in the Waffle. But yeah, I like the fact that it has like lines throughout the painting, you know, sort of dividing things up, giving things borders. But I very much like the fact that it's not 310 as well. So that's a nice little bit of a change. So we'll get some of this done. Comments, questions, etc. I am reading through comments from my regular Whip and Waffles that of course are on pause. So a lot of them will be from my Sunday Whip and Waffle because I have a bit of catch up to do. But some of them will also be from my Thursday Whip and Waffle. If any particular topic is discussed, I will try, provided I remember, I will try and do a little mini rehash of whatever the topic is. But yeah, as you guys are watching this, I am currently away with hubby. Hubby and I have taken a weekend away, left the kids and the dog all on their own, which is perfectly fine because they're all in their 20s, but yeah, we've left them all behind, and I am, yeah, hopefully enjoying some nice weather, though the way the British weather is, it will probably be a wet weekend. So yeah, first comment I'm coming to is from a couple of weeks ago. Jerry says, hi Rebecca and all zesties. She says, regarding facial waxing, she said she gets very bushy eyebrows and cannot pluck enough. So there has been discussions in Whip and Waffles, the fact, often I will mention that I have, say, an eyebrow appointment to go and get my eyebrows plucked and shaped and all the rest of the things that the wonderful lady does that I don't pay a huge amount of attention to. But I am also getting laser done on my legs in the hope that the hair that likes to grow extremely quickly there will vamoose. And I don't have that womanly battle to fight the same way that, yeah, you know, the whole, us women always have our battles of things that we need to keep up and maintain, and I'm trying to ditch as many of them as possible. Either by getting somebody else to do it or trying to get it to the point that it disappears completely, which is what I'm currently trying to do. with my legs. She says she gets very bushy eyebrows and she cannot pluck enough. She says she tries to make it in to have a pedicure at least once a month. She's worn boots for work for 40 years and she said her feet get super dry from them. Having a pedicure once a month, she says, helps her feet from not being so dry. Plus, it's the only coloured polish that she can have with her job. So why not have it on your toes? I'm with you on that one. She says after the pedicure, she says she usually has her eyebrows waxed as well. She said the first time she had her upper lip waxed was very surprising. She says now it's not as nowhere near as bad as it was in the beginning. And she even gets her chin waxed as well. She says it does get easier. She says just as it did get easier to have her eyebrows done. She's also had them threaded instead of waxed. She says she loves the results of the threading. Eyebrows was not too bad, but the upper lip wax, she said, it was just like she'd had it waxed for the first time. She said she had tears running down her cheeks. Oucha. That's what I can say. Oucha. I do get the fact of not liking that. Right, sorry, I am getting my next colour. We are on tipping into trays for all of these. And this one is not one of the primary colours. So this is 894. I'm doing the letter L. I've actually tipped all the diamonds into my tray. It is still a lot. Like I don't need all of them. But because I'm not having to tip them back in, it's like, well, if they're in here, then I don't need to refill. But I am going to go in single place in here. So sometimes I'll be like, do you know what, I'll multi-place where I can. But other times, especially when it's a lot of bitty sections like this, I'll just go straight in for the single placing and leave the multi-placing for sections like this where I can see a lot of like the full 4 line of multi-placing that I can do. Mysterious Day, she says she does know of a Weetabix. So I did talk about people having their Weetabix for breakfast. It's a cereal in the UK, apparently I think in Canada as well. And it was the basis that if you'd had that, you could get all sorts done in the day because, of course, you've got your energy levels up. But she said she believes it is in an American grocery store, she says, but it is something she's never tried. She says no one in her house would enjoy them. And personally, she said it's a texture that seems similar to oatmeal, which is something she dislikes purely because of the texture of eating it. She says no matter what the consistency. Yeah, Weetabix probably could get like that. You could sort of, if you eat it straight away after you've put milk on, it does have a bit more of a crunch. But as soon as that milk's soaked in, yeah, and you can have it with warm milk, so heated up, so it is a bit more, very much more like an oatmeal type consistency. I haven't eaten it for years, to be honest. But the kids all used to have it for breakfast. Right, 3805. This is the part that's actually been the most confusing for me. It may sound daft, but remembering that when I'm going to my tub, I go to my tub and then I realise that I don't have the symbols on my tub. It's the numbers I have on my packs, which is perfectly fine. It just takes me a minute to remember that I'm actually going to look, I'm going looking for a DMC number, not for a symbol. But I'm going back to my usual, starting in this bottom corner and doing whatever symbol sort of next to fill everything in. Linda says it's more like a shredded wheat biscuit. Yes, it possibly is. So that's probably the comparison on Weetabix. So it's a bit like a shredded wheat biscuit to start off with. And if you eat it as soon as you've sort of put your milk with it, then that's the consistency that you'll get. However, if you leave the milk to soak in, it will soak it up and you can make it more like an oatmeal type consistency. And that's how the kids used to have it when they were younger. And apparently I used to eat a couple of Weetabix for breakfast when I was very, very young. A lot younger than they now even say to eat breakfast. For babies to eat solids, sorry. I was a lot younger than that when I was having 2 Weetabix. But yeah, I had a big baby. Mysterious Days says she's finishing off this video now. She says she has passed her reading test. So she's been doing her, what is it, high school diploma? I can't remember what the initials of it's called, GED or something, is it? Yeah, so she's been doing different sections of that. And we've been getting updates through our Whip and Waffles, which is awesome. But she passed her reading test. She got 178 out of 200, which is equivalent to 96%, which is absolutely fandiddly-tastic, my dear. She says she's so proud of the score. She says, especially after she's mentally hyped up how hard the essay would be. She says now it is time for her to grind out science and maths over the next few months. Just getting my next colour. I don't think I'll tip all these in though. It's not tip all of them in, but I'll tip a chunk in. I'm working on the pin symbol now, what I call pin. She says she can't believe she's saying this, but she can see her actually passing her GED. There you go. She did mention it in her comments, so it is a GED. By 2025. She said maybe she'll start doing her online driver's education soon, so she can start to practice driving. She says, as for wanting what we don't have, she says she believes it is the FOMO mindset, which is the fear of missing out mindset. She says she loves straight hair, but she was given wavy hair. I think it can be a bit of that. I think it's just also, for example, if you have straight hair, always straight, you know, it's what you're used to. It's not that you're wanting wavy hair because you've got straight hair necessarily, even though it is. It's because you're wanting something different. You're wanting a change. And it's easy to dream about having a change in something like your hair or something like that, you know, and dream about having been born with different hair. But if you're born with wavy hair and have to deal with the curls, then you dream the opposite way. So yeah, it's the whole, you always think grass is greener on the other side, but there are pluses and minuses to everything. And the thing is, you've experienced the pluses and the minuses in your straight hair, for example, but you haven't experienced the pluses and the minuses with wavy hair. And that's why quite often people will decide to go for wavy hair and then decide that actually the minuses make them miss their straight hair. So Kaz, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes all is well, which it is. Thank you, Kaz. She says she loves what I've done so far. So that's a comment left when I was working on Aura Lower's Fox Woman. She says she's watching this while she is on her lunch break at work. Love it. Right, 3832. We're going into the olive green. 3832, not 3823. Make sure I get the right one. That's another one that I'm actually tipping it all in. Let's hope I never knock these trays. Luckily, they are just pretty much staying here now until this whole June waffle is done. So I'm less likely to knock them over, which is why I like to work this way when I'm on the likes of the June waffle, because they just sit there and stay there and they can just be what they are. Right, there's only a few of those. 961. I've tipped all of those in as well. I may or may not regret tipping all of those in. Oh, Dawn Dini says hi, says she is new here. Well, hello and welcome to our Whip and Waffly Chit Chats. She says, nice picture. Yes, Oraloa Foxwoman was a gorgeous picture. That was my finish for May. Okay, so I've just realised that my camera wasn't filming. I have just checked and I can see that I did record. I did start recording, so it's not that I have completely missed the whole first part of this Whip and Waffle. But I don't actually know when it stopped, so I do apologise for the break in. I'm trying to think of the word and I can't think of the word. But yeah, I'm sorry for the break in this video. Hopefully that is not a sign of things to come in the June waffle. Maybe because it's happened on the first day, I'm more likely to keep a huge eye on it. But every now and then these things happen. And when they do happen, I will say they always tend to be during the waffles. Whenever I've had any other fault sort of happen, it always ends up being during a waffle. So huge apologies, but I am still here. I am going to continue on with comments, etc., and hopefully I haven't missed any key ones out or missed any bits out for you all. I'm trying to think what to move on to next, whether to keep moving over here or whether to get some of these bits. No, let's keep moving over. So 3823 is my next colour. I've actually got a lot of these. So we'll tip a huge chunk out and we'll be refilling this at some point. Not a load in this section, but there must be a lot more elsewhere. So yeah, Dawn, she does say that she's new here and that it's a nice picture. So in case that comment didn't get caught, normally my camera beeps when it stops recording. Maybe I just haven't heard it. But yeah, I want to make sure she knows that I have read her comment. So hello and welcome, Dawn. Hopefully you're joining us in this June Whip and Waffle 2. And yeah, join us every day throughout the month of June while we get some diamond painting done. We'll get a little bit of me time done. Cat Lady, she says, yes, Rebecca, she says, we have sun. Yeah, well, this comment was written a bit ago. I reckon it's gone again. She said, let's enjoy it before we go back to rain next week. Yes. I thought, oh yeah, we've had nice sun. We'll end up with a week of rain. We'll get some sun again. No, I think we're on week 2 of rain now. Maybe even more than 2 weeks. It does not seem to want to let up at the moment. We're having periods without rain, but at some point every single day we're having rain, which is just not nice, frankly. Just not nice. We don't need that much rain. Cat Lady says she sat out in it too long yesterday, and she has now has after sun lotion in many places. Get that after sun out. That's the only thing, especially with us Brits. We just forget how harsh that sun can be, and how much we can end up catching the sun on ourselves after not having sun for so long. I picked up a 5th one then. Managed to get a little strip of 5 in instead of 4. That's about the extent that I go. Occasionally grabbing in extra ones. And sometimes I do find that my diamonds don't all want to sit in nice soldier rows for me. Like, they're sitting in rows, but then there's some that catch on it in different places. And that's another reason I love to diamond paint primarily in bits that I can do like the full block of floor, because I can just pick it up somewhere in the middle. I tend to find that happens with rounds more than with squares. With squares, they seem to be a lot better at getting out of the way. This is also one of our older trays, not printed on our new higher end printers. So I know our more recent trays are a little bit more slippery as well. So they work a little bit better. But I can pick and choose what bits. Still can't help using my finger every now and then just to nudge them where I want them to go correctly. I do have our diamond painting putty in this multi-placer, by the way, just so you know. What I've also just realised as I was doing that last colour, before my camera so rudely sent me off on a different tangent, is I do actually have some ABs in this, and I quite often prefer to place ABs before I place all the ones around them, because then I can use my AB pick up pen and I'm not fighting things in. I don't have to press as hard. So when I do this number 3 now, I think I might do the number 1 as well, because they're both ABs. So 141. Let's get my white ABs in a tray. So numbers 1, 2 and 3 are ABs in this painting. Now, one of the benefits with having putty in here is I can actually multi-place ABs with them. Oh, I knocked off that 5th one thinking it would be too many for this row, and it wasn't. So sometimes I do sneakily pick up one and just, you know, while I've got the putty and the ABs out. It is stickier than wax, so sometimes they do like to stick, but I do find I can get away with it depending on how many of them there is. But this one is possibly playing up a little bit. It's just that section of it. This putty has been in this multi-placer for quite a while, so that could also be the reason why it's not liking to let go of the ABs that much. But yeah, the other thing I like to use for my ABs is my pickup pen. You can also use the likes of a wax crayon, but my pickup pen is my sort of go-to for my ABs primarily, because they tend to be a little bit easier. Okay, so white ABs are done. So while we're here, we will do my green ABs, which is number 1, 1, 2, 2. Throw a load of those in. And do a little hop, skip and a jump up to there before we fill in some of these other colours. And it just means if I need to be nudging them into a different direction or a different place, I can actually use the diamonds that are surrounding them. As I put them down, I can use them to nudge my ABs, because these wax tips don't cope as well with being used to nudge diamonds. They're just not tough enough. They're quite soft. Darcy, she says, hello Rebecca. She says, we are getting a taste of the heat that is coming this summer. She says it's 90s to triple digits this week coming up. She says she's not looking forward to the extreme heat this summer. She says, have a great treat time away. Thank you. We are going to have a good weekend, hopefully, and hopefully some nice enough weather. But, you know, we'll hold reservations on what the weather is likely to be like as we go along. Okay, 347. That is all the diamonds that I get for this one, but it looks like more of an accent than a full-blown colour. So these are the bits that the more we uncover and the more we do, the better those bits will start to come together. Okay, so my next, oh actually no, my next colour is P. I was thinking my next colour was this one, which there's then a huge chunk of up here. And I'm actually thinking I might do some of these smaller amount colours first, just to sort of fill in some blanks. I obviously haven't used my navy tray for a bit. I've just given it a little bit of wipe. It's caught a little bit of dust. Okay, 355. Let's do some of these. What we do in the craft says, hi Rebecca, where did you get your amazing small pen? So that is my little one that has been my go-to recently, my little diddy one. That one is actually from Hand Turned Heaven. If you do get pens from any company that actually sort of does them themselves from a resin pen blank and does it on a lathe, you can often get the smaller ones from them. I only have the one, and I do very, very much like it. But yeah, they were on Facebook. So Hand Turned Heaven is where I got that one from. Lathe and Lathe Works is where I got this one from. But yeah, a lot of them just do different sort of styles and things. So you will often find, you know, that they have a certain way of doing things or certain like design things. Some of them, you know, will do the same or similar. Some of them have a bit of their own unique style. But you'll see a few different ones that I will potentially be using over this waffle because I am going to change my pen each time. Right, a bit of static with these. So there is a few that are a little bit jumpy, but I have forced them all out of the tray. We obviously don't have a huge amount of these. So I'm guessing there'll be a lot of single placing. So they can jump wherever they want to jump. Right, so that's cleared up that one there, that one there. Let's do this number 4, which is 152, which is sort of the first true DMC colour. And this is all of them again. So this is my whole pack. And I will use the bottles when it comes to the end of this painting. I will dekit. I will tip all my trays into the bottles before I dekit. I just think it will be a lot easier for me personally to process it. Right, let's do this one. We're definitely filling in some blanks now. 3727. I've got quite a few of these. Carrie says, hi Rebecca. She says, another great waffle. She says, the painting is looking beautiful. She says, sorry for the long comment. More than happy with a long comment, Carrie. Doesn't bother me at all. Oh, she said her depression is still not doing well. So tomorrow she is... Sorry, let me just change my colour. She is taking a treatment procedure that uses, it's called TMS. She did it a year ago, she says, and it helped a lot. It uses a magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in the brain. To improve symptoms, she says, of major depression. It's used for treatment-resistant depression. She's hopeful. She said it's so helpful that she's hopeful that it will help her again the next time. She also has her psychiatric nurse practitioner appointment, neurology appointment, and care management appointment this week as well. She says, so busy week. Goodness me, I would feel like I could not make a single plan for the whole week with that many appointments. I would be like, nope, off the cards, can't do anything else. Not happening, I have stuff going on. That is very much how I would be. And you may think this is a lot of diamonds for the sake of 2 colours, 2 diamonds, and yes it is, but it'll be there and ready and waiting for my next one. So let's pop that one away, then let's go for the letter J, 605, hang on, I already did 605, oh, I've done it in E. I should have done 604. Oh my goodness me. Okay. So I'm going to tip from 604. I'm going to tip them all into this tray, which is actually 605. Now I know I only put a few of these down, but I'm just going to use one to find out where it was that I put them. Where was it? Oh, it was these ones over here. Okay, this here that I've literally just done. This is why I should pay attention. Let's take that one off. And then is that one as well? No, that is. It was the one that was 2 diamonds. I remember saying now it's only 2 diamonds. 2 diamonds that have mucked me up. Okay, so this is 605, which means this should be the letter J. So let's put those 3 on there. Okay, so put J back. And then 604, that should have been E. Let's actually try getting hold of the right number. And let's put those 2 in. And breathe. And I don't edit out all that sort of mistakes because things like that happen, especially when you're multitasking like I am doing at the moment. Obviously quite badly, but I am doing it. So let's see if I can pay attention. I'm still going to work on, I think I'm just going to do this green, or maybe those 2 diamonds, and then we'll finish up sort of the last 3 colours. Just making sure it's one of the older pink ones. This is when we used to put a sticker on the end. So it's an older tray, and I want colour 911. Not many of these either. Just throw my top on the floor. Anybody ever feel like you should stop diamond painting for the day when things like this keep happening? That's what I'm getting to. It's like, should I stop painting for the day? Should I go and lie down in a darkened room so I can't do any harm to anybody or anything? Maybe I should. Maybe it would have been easier to tip diamonds into each tray first, but I figured this is the more practical way to potentially do it. Okay, let's do those 2 diamonds and then the 2 triangles, which is 8, 9, 3. And then let's get cracking on some of these bigger chunks. Christina, so this is a comment on my Foxwoman Whip and Waffle that looks to be one from a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it's finishing it up actually. No, it's from a couple of weeks ago. She said she did wonder why this Whip and Waffle that I was doing was shorter than normal, she says, but then I started out with multi-placing, she says, which did take her by surprise a little bit. Yeah, I don't often multi-place at all. I'm just double checking my numbers before I start tipping them in at the moment. She said, yeah, so I don't often multi-place. I've only just started multi-placing a little bit more potentially in some of my videos. Just as I'm sort of enjoying using this new multi-placer. And yeah, just because quite often I do Whip and Waffles according to the time. And I'll do longer ones when I have the time to, and I'll pull out bigger sections. And sometimes for my Sunday Whip and Waffles, I will uncover a bigger section, but I'll potentially stop partway through. Just because I'm limited by time rather than by amount of diamonds. But that last Whip and Waffle that I did that was really, really short, I uncovered just one section, thinking it would take me longer than it did, and then I did a little bit of multi-placing as well, and it just sped the whole thing up. She said she's also always wondered where Dachshund came from. She said she means it's German in theory, but only there. She says whoever came up with that word, she says, made things unnecessarily hard. She says since the actual German word for this type of dog, she said, is actually Dackel, which is pronounced like duck with an EL at the end, so Duckel. She says probably something, she says, a lot easier, said with a word followed with a CH followed by an S. There is so many weird words out there, isn't there, that just have so many different origins. I know a lot of words can like sort of start off with like a Latin as well, a Latin origin. And yeah, I mean, the English language is one of the hardest languages ever, considering it is spoken by so many people around the world. I mean, I know a lot of it's the writing of it that's harder, especially the likes of the grammar and how many words we have that can be spelt in multiple different ways depending on which version of the word that you're saying. And some that are spelt the same and sound completely different depending on what you're saying them in. I'm thinking of the word read and read, as in a book. I've read a book. Are you going to read a book? They're both spelt exactly the same way, but they're both said different. Yet if you're talking about a plant read, it's spelt different because it's double E. So the English language is just blinking weird. And then to end up with names that are, you know, are origins from lots of other different languages just does not help even things out at all. It gets even more confusing, which, to be honest, on days like today, probably does not take much with me because I don't quite know what's going on today. maybe I need to go and get myself a nice hot drink and a sandwich when I've finished this whip and waffle. I feel like they're all a little bit all over the place, but anyway, let's carry on. Let's get in what we can multi-place in here. And I went to put 4s there and they're not, they're 3s. Kim says she can't seem to lay down drills horizontally with the multi-placer either. She says, so glad the placer and the putty is working for me. So yes, it is. Thank you again so much, Kim. She did send me a couple of these 4 placers. So far I just keep using one across pens, just because then I don't have to add putty to any. That's the only reason, laziness. I will end up cracking open the second one at some point. I did offer Megan to use the other 4 placer when she actually diamond painted the other day. However, she likes her 3 placer and wants to stick to that. So it's one of those, isn't it? You do you. Each to their own and what they prefer. Right, let me just get my next colour, 3706. I now know I need to pay attention when I'm doing these because I've already made that one mistake. This is all I have of these, so I'm guessing most of them are concentrated around here. So yeah, the other 4 placer will end up getting used at some point. I'll end up popping it into a pen. Probably when the putty on this one needs replacing. And I'll just replace them both together. But I am loving it. I do find I have on occasion on my other big painting that I'm working on at the moment. My square one that I'm sort of working on. In between when I do get to diamond paints. I did manage to place a couple of them horizontal, which I will say was easier with this placer. Like I can see it a little bit more. But yeah, these are extremely expensive, so I will probably be going back to having a few of my standard metal multi-placers in some pens and the posh one in others, and I will vary probably between them depending on which painting I'm working on or which pen I'm fancying using. Melissa, I nearly didn't hear the camera that time either. Anyway, Melissa, she says she's thrilled that someone got me one of the Diamond Art Club multi-placers, which I was planning on trying at some point, but I hadn't ordered from Diamond Art Club at the time. And yeah, I'm so happy that Kim sent me these. So grateful. But yeah, I have recently placed an order with Diamond Art Club, but it was after these arrived. So I didn't order any more. Single placer, as nice as, you know, I know people do say the single placers are nice, but I don't want, I have so many pens with so many, of course, single placers in them, that I don't want to have a few, you know, that are completely different, because the Diamond Art Club ones are completely different, and the single placers work perfectly fine for me, so I'm not going there with the single placer. Right, I need my dash line for the last one, 3688. Let me grab that. 3688. Oh, there's quite a few of these. So yeah, she says they're a game changer, she said, and she knew that once I tried them, I would love them. She says she can't wait to see my journey with them, at your own pace, of course. She says she wanted to ask me, while she had the chance, if I've ever done a Josephine wall kit. She says, if not, would you ever consider doing one? I haven't done one. I have been asked a couple of times. It is something I would consider doing. It would probably be like one of my Thursday projects, which is because they tend to be high colour, don't they? So it would be one of my Thursday whip and waffle projects. I just have a few already in the pipeline, so I sort of don't want to add another one in there quite yet. Sorry, I'm just messing with straightening up a few drills because I've been multi-placing. Sometimes I don't like the way they go down. She says they are sold by 2 companies, so she'd love to watch me do one, hear your thoughts and see that journey as well. She says she knows that I'm watching my stash levels. She says, but if somebody bought you one, would you consider one then? She says, can you tell I'm trying to live vicariously through you? I would consider one anyway. Like, nobody needs to buy me one for me to do it. I say it would be a Thursday project, so even if I was in effect bought one, it would be something that would go in the list for my Thursday projects, which at the moment would be a while because my next 2 after walking in the rain are already decided. It's then after that. So I will pop it on my list for after that and make it my 3rd one. So once I finish walking in the rain, I'll be doing my other Heaven and Earth design. Then I'll be doing outside the sweet shop because frankly I adore that photo, that picture. So I want that one. I want to do that one. And then I will look at doing a Josephine wall. So it might be a while. But yeah, I'm more than happy to do one. Right, so I've pulled this out from here now, just tucked underneath for the day, because section 1 is done. I've got no idea how long that took until I get to editing because I didn't pay attention to what time I came in here. But yeah, I am here for the duration. We will get finished. So day 1 is done. Day 2 is over here. I did want to check whether that was day 2 or 22, but that one is number 2. So we're going down here for tomorrow's. But yeah, let me all know how are you all getting on with your me time or your projects, whatever it may be that you're doing during June Waffle. And do let us know your comments down below. I will be getting through the comments. I am moving through them as soon as I can. I do still have a couple of weeks worth of comments, but these first 3-4 days are actually done a little bit early because I'm going away. So any comments left on here will probably be from the 5th, 6th of June. They'll start appearing. But yeah, start the conversation topics now, and we will discuss all sorts of things throughout the month of June. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon. I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.